We're going places. We're going places, baby. The sun is shining brightly through these windows, and it is beautiful.
Let's make it. If I do that, it makes me look like a ghost.
And it's also like perfectly down half of your face as well. The ghost line, so you just kind of fade into obscurity,
like this podcast.
Just like this podcast after 10 episodes. Hey man, our first episode 1, has got 130 listeners.
That's really good.
130 downloads, but it's just steadily declines from there onwards, really.
Well, I hope people continue listening, because obviously the first one is potentially always going to be the weakest one.
Yeah.
Because we have to grow, together and as a show and brand.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we should just delete the first one and make the second one the first one, and then people hear the second one and be like, oh, this is good. Yeah, exactly.
So it starts on a high every time, a higher level every time.
And people just think we start really, really strong. But no, we're getting there. It's interesting as well, like looking at just like the titles of each episode.
Yeah.
And clearly there are people that don't listen to every episode, and there are some people that just literally just look at the title and think, yeah, that sounds good. So like the Xbox Showcase predictions only got 35 views, but then the next episode, Xbox Reactions and Halo Meme Traction, got 46 downloads. So
yeah,
people were bothered by the predictions, but then again, we made the predictions after the showcase had happened, so that's probably why, because people had already watched it and they're like, why are they predicting shit? Oh well, it's a crazy world out there, and we're just trying to get by at the end of the day.
I feel like because we've come back from a break, I could do like a Jeremy Clarkson intro. When they always came back from Top Gear or the Grand Tour and would walk back into the studio, and everyone's cheering, and then because it's a new series, that he would announce it as if he surprised they're back as well.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm surprised we're back, but no one can stop us because we're gonna,
That's true. We don't have no one cheering, but I could fade in some cheering at the end of the music.
Oh, I'll definitely do that. Okay, fade, bring up the cheer fader.
Yeah.
And then we're like, yes, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you. It's good to be back. We're back.
Hey.
We're back. We're back.
Is that supposed to be JC?
I don't know.
I've just been texted by a friend of mine saying 40 minutes till the Nvidia stream. So if that gives you a clue of what time and day it is.
Yeah.
That's when we're recorded.
Also, I did think that after the hiatus, we could have shifted our schedule a little bit around to make it better, because we always seem to miss these big but I mean, they're always on a different day, but we always seem to put the episodes out at a reading time where all the stuff's already happened.
That's great though.
Is it?
No.
You always say that. That's great when you literally mean the opposite. 40 minutes to the Nvidia showcase, and I'm predicting no big news out of that. They might show some PC stuff. I don't know.
Well,
it'll be like tech showcase, won't it?
It's their new line of 3000 series graphics cards. I don't think they're going to be announcing the full line. I think it's going to be the 3080 and the newly announced 3090. But
this is just going to be more graphical fidelity, higher resolutions. They're going to get those rays fully traced. It's all going to happen.
The prices are rumoured at 3060 will be $400. 3070 will be $600. 3080 will be $600. No, $800, I think. And the 3090 will be, brace yourself, $1,400.
Oh, Christy, that's a lot of money. That's going to be nearly 3 next generation consoles just for one graphics card.
That costs more than my entire PC put together, I'm pretty sure.
See, when PC gamers are like, why doesn't everyone just be PC gamers? This is why. Because
I mean, it depends.
Mad.
It depends what you're chasing. It's a massive rabbit hole.
Yeah, that's true. So you can run the original Crysis on Ultra, can you?
Yeah, it looks terrible. It's also a rubbish game. But yes, I can.
So funny.
the Switch
Those
can,
games were always the benchmark, weren't they? For like, as in like, I can remember everyone being like, yeah, but can you run Crysis?
That was the thing.
Back in like '05 or something. Maybe at the top of all of this, you could just put a little like, we want PC alert. Or like a, we want PC hardware chat.
Yes, it's a specific area that obviously not everyone's going to be super interested in, especially if you're just console gaming. You'd be like, can I turn it on and play a game? Yes, you can.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we got some PC gamers that listen. But anyway, so that's the Nvidia big. I think it's called the Nvidia Party Shenanigan Fest is happening in 35 minutes from now. So maybe while we're recording this, we'll get some hot silky news.
We'll dip into it,
yeah,
and we'll slip in. We'll edit it as if it was just already there.
Oh,
and
beautiful!
You won't notice.
You're revealing the magic.
There's going to be some past, present, future going on.
That's the sound of synergy.
Yes.
Oh, everybody, it's so nice to be back talking on podcast. This is good fun. We missed you for this 1 week that we've been away. We thought we'd have a little break. We've done 10 episodes. Maybe we'll do that every time. We'll do 10 episodes, have a week off. Seems like a nice way of doing it.
Sounds reasonable. But also, we were doing stuff. It wasn't just...
Yeah, no, there was reasons.
Week off.
Yeah, we weren't being lazy. We were actually quite busy. On today's show, boys and girls, we're going to start, as always, with the news, and then we'll move into some chunky, deep-fried chat about what we've been playing over our sort of little hiatus, the video games we've been tucking into, and then we'll jump into some topics and have a little look at the idiots online that we like to call fanboys. So we'll have a little chat about them and sort of fanboy culture. But before we kind of get into all of that, Mark, I hope you'll kind of allow me to say this. I don't know if everyone that listened got to the end of the last episode. I hope they did. We mentioned, as a sort of joke, but we kind of willed it into reality, that we'd do a little running feature, a little competition maybe, in which we'll give a little shout out to the MVP or the MVL, the most valuable listener, for helping us spread the word about the podcast. And we said it, and you know what? We had some responses. Our usual fave man, Mr. Lawal, he got in there with a claim, but actually just before him was a good friend of mine from back home in the town of Shrovesbury, also known as Shrewsbury, a good friend of mine called Keaton Kendrick. And he said that he told 5 people about the podcast. So, Keaton, thanks for telling people. Here's your little jingle. Mr. Great Barrister, and he told 5 people about this show. Pushing buttons. So there you have it. Hope you enjoyed that, Keaton.
Silly.
Yeah, that's us. If you want a really crap little song written about you, then all you have to do is spread the word to 5 people about pushing buttons and tell us you did it. Obviously,
and it helps if your name rhymes. Fortunately,
yes.
he had alliteration, so we had that on our side.
Yeah, definitely. We'll like it if there's you've got some kind of special thing about your name. Rhyming, alliteration. Maybe it sounds a bit rude. All of that stuff is great. Obviously, we can't really prove that you've told 5 people, but we're just very trusting boys.
That's true. We're just relying on your word. So don't lie. Be nice.
It's a verbal contract.
Correct.
When you start listening to this show, you're entering a verbal contract. So we'd love it if you could help us spread the word, and you get a little something in return. But first up, Mark, it's that time that we always look forward to, where people get to find out some hot new stuff.
No. News. Still don't have a jingle for the news. Can we talk about Gamescom?
Yeah, I'll allow you to do that. We both watched that, didn't we?
We did. Obviously, there was an event going on from the 27th to the 30th of August 2020.
August.
However, there was the 2-hour live stream, and I checked this with Ben because I thought maybe my internet was going absolutely bananas. But it turns out the stream was a bit crap for you as well. Is that right?
Yeah, it was very jumpy, and there are some audio sync problems. But I found that to be kind of a running theme with a few of the streams that I've been watching over the course of lockdown. And obviously, it's hard to do, to be able to do these streams, but it was a bit disappointing.
Yeah, it was. This one felt all over the place in terms of the stream quality. It was jumpy and out of sync, and wowza, I don't know what was going on there. But aside from that, it was a 2-hour live stream, so we're not going to go through everything because we'll be here all day.
Yeah.
But here's a few standout things that we spotted whilst watching, and it was actually in sync and working. First up, Outer Worlds DLC, Peril on Gorgon, will be releasing on September 9th. So if you liked Outer Worlds...
That's pretty soon. That's pretty soon.
That is soon. Yeah, that'll be coming out. Do you want more Outer Worlds?
I do. I stupidly, I didn't finish it. I was really enjoying it, but then I think another game came out, so I just lost track of it a little bit. But everything I did play was great, and I love Pavati. She is Bae.
Yeah, I agree. I did the same thing. I played like a huge chunk of it and just did loads of side quests, and then went... Cool, and just play something else and forgot.
Yeah, and it's a struggle with those.
Good.
It is really good, and it's a struggle. It's just with those kind of games, it's really daunting to dive back into it because there's, when you've got a character and you know exactly what's going on with them, and you're thinking, this is where I'm going to put my experience points into it. When you then jump back into it, it's like, where the hell am I? Who am I? What was I doing? So it is a really tricky thing to jump back into, but I really enjoyed the game, so I might have to give this a try. Peril on Gorgon, September 9th.
Another announcement was Dragon Age 4. It was actually just a load of making of footage, like behind-the-scenes stuff. We've discussed Dragon Age before. It wasn't our bag.
No, not really. They showed a lot of sort of in-development concept artwork and that kind of thing. And I think a lot of Dragon Age fans were very excited by it, but for all intents and purposes, it looks like that game is a long way off because, it was all very early, concept footage. So, the Dragon Age fans got excited. I don't think anyone was expecting to see anything of it, so that would have been a really nice surprise for a lot of people. Yeah,
I think there's 4 people going, yes, I love Dragon Age, and we're really now, being given hope of a new one.
Slightly more than... I think you mean slightly more than 4, everyone, but, it's just a joke.
5, yeah.
Okay.
Lego Star Wars, if you need more Lego Star... I feel like there's billions of Lego Star Wars games. There's probably only 3, but I can't remember. The Skywalker Saga is due for release in spring 2021. I'm good, but if you like the Lego games, they are fun. They're cute.
Yeah, I never really... I always played like demos of them, but I never actually owned any of them. And this trailer for this one actually made me think, you know what, maybe I'll give it a go this time, because it looks quite different to the way the other ones played. In terms of the other ones, they had elements of the stories, but you were always just kind of put into a room and like to fight off enemies and find things. Whereas this seems to be really closely recreating a lot of the set pieces from the films, and a bit, I don't know, a bit more of a faithful retelling of the films as opposed to the other games, which was quite loose. It's difficult to describe, but go watch the trailer. I quite like the look of it. But it's like you said, there have been a hell of a lot of Lego Star Wars games, so it's interesting that they're choosing to do it again. Skywalker Saga. Nice.
I think the only ones I own are the Lord of the Rings and the Marvel Avengers one.
Oh, the Marvel Avengers one was good. Yeah, that one was a good laugh.
It's a bit clunky, but it was a laugh.
Yeah.
Next up, Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition. It will feature cross-platform multiplayer, 2 new game modes, and it will be in Ultra 4K.
Sorry, I was going to say, what's the difference between 4K and Ultra 4K?
Don't know. HDR capability, potentially? Don't really know.
Okay.
I mean, they're just continuing the theme of, like, looking at that back catalogue and going, hey, let's spruce that one up. They've done it twice to Age of Empires 2. Why not do it for 3?
Yeah.
Rinse more money out of that, I guess. I've not played Age of Empires 3. Our good friend Josh Mallet is a big fan.
Yeah, I've played it. I really like it. I think it's very good.
You like it?
Yep.
Cool.
I think it's really good.
Well, maybe I'll give this version a go.
Yeah, I can't remember. Did they say that was just for PC? I can't remember. I mean, it will play best on PC, but...
Well, RTS is historically, it's a little easier on PC, but I think I don't know, I think it's on everything.
Because I know there are some games for Xbox that allow for mouse and keyboard support. So I wonder if they'll do that for that.
Perhaps.
Mayhaps. Next up, they showed off some stuff. A bit of developer chatting about why they wanted to do it, etc. For a new Medal of Honor game, which is going to be a purely VR game called Medal of Honor Above and Beyond, which of course is going back to World War II, as if there haven't been enough games set in the World War II timeline for killing Nazis and taking German names.
And I want my scalps.
Yeah.
I think we all thought Medal of Honor was kind of dead. I really enjoyed Goral Army. I really enjoyed some of the old Medal of Honor games, and then after Airborne, I think they tried to compete with Call of Duty and died a horrible death. And the series sort of killed itself. I personally really liked them, especially Frontline and Airborne. They just had the World War II style gunplay really down, and I was into that. So it's nice to see the title back. I don't have any VR headset capability here, so I won't be playing that one. However, it sort of looks like it'll be really fun. Graphically, it doesn't look like super sharp. It didn't look like super great.
Well,
but
I guess that's the issue with VR. They never look incredible.
Yeah, but I think it looks fun, and it might be a good transition for Medal of Honor now. So we'll just have to see where that one goes. It's being made by Respawn, who did Titanfall and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So they've got a bit of they've got a good pedigree with shooters and story-based action games. So I'm sure it will be good and it will probably be one of the better VR titles going. I do wonder if they will find a way of bringing it to non-VR capabilities at some point, consoles and PCs, just because I think there's probably quite a lot of people that would be really up for playing a new Medal of Honor game just because of nostalgia, and it was such a huge franchise for a lot of people. Yeah, agree. Next up, Spellbreak, a new battle royale that launched the same night as Gamescom. It's a third-person spellcaster kind of game. It's another battle royale. Yeah, I genuinely think this trailer was when I stopped watching the show, just because I was like, this I'm bored, I'm done with this now, because I just don't need another battle royale. It had it had that same sort of slightly cartoony Sea of Thieves-esque graphics that just loads of stuff has at the moment. I'm just bored, man. I'm just bored of all of this stuff. It's like they're just beating a dead horse, and even though a lot of battle royales are really popular, I feel like you really need to come out with something either very different like Fall Guys, or be a hugely well-known franchise like Call of Duty, where people are like, I love Call of Duty so much, and I'll do a battle royale in its world. So unless you're one of those two things, I just think you're just going to get lost in the mud of it all. I think this looked more interesting, better than the Ubisoft offering, whatever that's called. Oh god, yeah, I played that for half an hour. I played that for half an hour and then got rid of it. I didn't bother downloading that one because I knew I wasn't going to like it. But if someone forced me to pick, I think Spellbreak at least looks more unique. Okay, that sort of third person. It's all spells and stuff rather than just gunplay. Probably won't play it though. Spells are cool. Next up, this was probably like the biggest moment of the whole evening. They showed a good chunk of gameplay from the new Ratchet and Clank game coming to the PS5, and they also revealed it's going to be a launch window game, which kind of makes you think, does that mean it's coming out on launch or within the first month? Who knows? But anyway, so that's quite a big thing for them. So now that and the Spider-Man Miles Morales games are their two big launch titles. So that's a lot more than Xbox have in terms of big titles. But yeah, there's been some really positive reactions to this gameplay, and in a time in which it's some like extended gameplay from next generation is hard to come by, they showed a lot of it, and people, a lot of people are saying this is one of the first games they've seen gameplay of that really does look next gen, just in terms of like the amount going on screen and the fidelity and resolution and the way it all looks.
But I did also hear some people saying that because they did a Ratchet and Clank remake for PS4, which already had like near to like Pixar movie quality visuals, and it's kind of like, how far can you advance that? How much better than that can you really get? And I guess it's just the amount of stuff going on screen without drops in frame rate is the impressive thing, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to poop on Ratchet and Clank too much because a lot of people love it, and I don't think they're bad games, but I said this in a previous thing. Ratchet and Clank for me was always like fun enough, but like not really my thing. I always felt like it was a battle between wanting to be some sort of like wacky third-person shooter and a platforming game, and it does neither very good for me. I think the main takeaway from what they're showing is unfortunately something that we will all take for granted, and it is those load times.
Yeah.
Everything that was going on screen and all the dimension changes and stuff were instant. When you're playing the game, you are just going to take that for granted because you're not thinking about the background processes going on.
Yeah.
So I kind of had to remind myself when watching that gameplay, this isn't really my thing. Sure, I've kind of played this before. I'm not invested in those two characters particularly. However, actually what's going on is pretty incredible, and we're all just going to take that for granted because it will become the norm. I kind of have to remind myself that it's impressive rather than going, oh, this isn't for me.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
So that's kind of how it went down for me. But I mean, it looks all right. The one thing I would say, just from a gameplay mechanic thing, is they were making this. Obviously, the dimension changes and everything that's going on in terms of the different worlds and things interacting with. One of the gameplay elements was like looking at I guess you'd call it like a rift.
Yes.
Like a broken.
Like a bit of a portal.
Space-time.
A bit of a portal.
A bit of a portal. Basically, you look at the rift and press a button. Now, in terms of gameplay, I've done a lot of gameplay things where you look at something and press a button. Yeah. Now, again, I could be taking for granted what's actually happening on screen when you do that in terms of pulling the rift towards you and it opening up and pulling, whatever it was doing. Those load times and that processing, again, might be impressive, but from a gameplay point of view, I've pressed buttons before. I do it all the time.
And you'll carry on pushing buttons for a long time, we all hope, Mark.
Absolutely right. Anyway, that was Gamescom. Again, it was 2 hours.
Yeah.
That we've probably gone on for too long, and that was a snippet.
Well, the last thing from it actually was they announced season 2 of Fall Guys during the stream, which basically seems to be a bit of a medieval themed overhaul. They're doing lots of knights and armor skins. They announced a few more game types for it. I think. Looks all right.
It's exactly what I wanted. I want more of those platformy levels rather than the team games.
Yeah.
So they've put in more of those sort of total wipeout stages, those Takeshi Castle type things, and that's what I want. It does look like they're introducing some moving platforms. So if you know the game, there's just a grab button where you can grab each other or grab ledges or whatever it is, or grab eggs. Yeah. So what they've added is like these movable staircases and things. So it looks like even if you're not on teams, you're going to have to kind of work together so you can wobble the staircase into the right place and then scramble up it and stuff. So it just looks like more silliness and what we kind of want anyway.
Yeah, a lot of people, myself included, were hoping that they were going to announce it coming to more platforms, but not yet. We're still waiting.
No, they did say, didn't they? To be honest.
Yeah. And there were loads across the whole course of Gamescom, not just the opening night. There were loads and loads of indie games shown off, but there are, like you said, there are so many to go through, and we would be here for a very long time. But just go and check out some of the trailers that they showed. The tricky thing with indie games is that I find it very hard to make. First impressions with indie games are difficult, and often I just need to play it to get a good feel of what I can expect from it and what I'm going to enjoy. And also, you can only really base it on what other people think of it in reviews, because there are so many hundreds of thousands of indie games, and it's just such a difficult choice to dive into one. But there's loads, and some of them look really cool. So yeah, if you're up for indie games, which we both are, go check out the list from Gamescom. So outside of games,
hey, listen,
yes,
talk to me about Halo.
Oh, sorry, yeah, that's what I was going to do. Sorry, that's all right, mate. I appreciate the segue. So outside of Gamescom, there's been some other news. The ongoing sort of garbage truck on fire that is the Halo Infinite situation has had a few developments. The sort of big one really is that they've rehired some old talent, the sort of biggest of which is an old hand from the Bungie era, Joe or Joseph. He goes by both Staten, I think, who is involved with the Stary, and the story. Oh my god, I can't get through an episode without some kind of hideous misread. He was involved with the story on Halo 1, 2, and 3. He was also involved with a lot of the cutscenes and the sort of battle dialogue and all that kind of stuff for the first 3 Halo games. And he also did all of the voices for the grunts, which is a fun little Easter egg. But he's been rehired into the fold over at 343, basically to sort out the story of Halo Infinite, which does, worry you slightly, doesn't it? I mean,
it's such a mess.
It's
genuinely such a mess. I don't know where to begin.
They're going to have to... It sounds like they're starting from scratch, really. As in, they'll have a lot of artwork and assets that they can use and mechanics and things, but... I mean...
Well, they didn't have anything to show for years.
Yeah.
They've been working on it for years. A year ago, they dropped the main director, which is never good.
Yeah.
And then they showed this and everyone went, hang on, why does this look crap? And then 343 Industries went, wait a minute, yeah, why does this look crap? We'll delay it. And now they're bringing on someone to help with the story, which is at least something you think would be sorted by now. It's a catastrophe.
Yeah.
But we can only hope they do get their act together and sort it out. But it just sounds like an absolute mess.
It is just mad that it was able to get to the point where it got so close to release, and it was only that point when they showed off the gameplay that were like, we should probably delay this. Like, why didn't they make that decision earlier? And now it's going to be, I mean, they said that it's being pushed to 2021, but it's going to be the end of the year at least. It can't come out any sooner than that, and if it does, it'll still be rushed. So, and they also, I think, rehired. Is it It's not Creative Assembly. Who is it? It's a company that helped them with multiplayer in previous years. They've got back on board to help design maps and that kind of thing. But the name of the company has just escaped me, which is really annoying. But yeah, so they're making some moves, which is great for the game. But in terms of it coming out anytime soon, that ain't gonna happen, people. So that's the 343 side of things. Another thing, Mark, that neither of us probably are that interested in is the new Call of Duty game has been announced. It's a game with 7 words in its title: Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War.
Yeah. I might have said this before. In terms of Call of Duty, I didn't really like Modern Warfare that much. I really liked Modern Warfare 2. I really liked World at War. I really liked Black Ops, the first one. Hated Black Ops 2. Stopped playing Call of Duties for years. Came back to Modern Warfare, which feels like a sort of solid, well-built sort of hybrid of Black Ops and Modern Warfare 2, kind of going back to the roots, but obviously upgrading in graphics, more gameplay types and all that sort of thing, and attachments for guns. Plays fine. Not my favourite game in the world, but it's good fun. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, I'm not really interested.
Well, there's you might be, because it's apparently a sequel to the first Black Ops.
Yeah, but there was a Black Ops 2 and then a Black Ops 3 and then a Black Ops 4.
But this is continuing the story of the first one. Whether or not the gameplay will be any good, it's continuing the story of Black Ops 1, apparently.
Sure, but I'll be honest, it's so long ago, I don't remember the story of Black Ops 1.
Fair one, okay.
But I've got enough multiplayer going on Modern Warfare to sort of keep my Call of Duty-ness at bay.
Yeah, okay, great stuff.
So I don't really need this. But anyway, its initial release date is slated for the 13th of November.
My birthday. Yeah, cool. I'm not much of a Call of Duty guy. The trailer looks great. The graphics look awesome, and it's set in the 80s, which is a decade that I really like. But yeah, actually, I'm just sort of done with the whole, like, we're going to have to do an illegal... The president is getting us to do an illegal... We're a bunch of 4 guys, and we're going to do an illegal mission that the president, Reagan, wants us to do behind enemy lines. This war is cold. I'm just done with all the bravado of it and all of that stuff that you get with the hype train that you get with the Call of Duty games. I'm just kind of like, not my cup of tea, really. Sorry.
No, but I mean, it might be all right. I'm just personally not interested.
Yeah, no, it could be a good game.
Rumours about the new Nintendo Switch finally We have a kind of sort of vague date that it's going to, well, not a date, but early 2021, which, isn't that far away. A new model coming at the start of the year. I've got a quote here that says it will include more computing power and 4K high definition graphics. And the new model will most likely feature an upgraded but custom version of the Nvidia Tegra chipset based on newer ARM technologies. So it looks like they're going into power, which is not what we expected or what we said we really wanted. I wanted a slightly larger screen to fill the tablet and it run at 1080p. I just wanted it to be HD. But 4K in a handheld, is this thing going to be on fire and chugging?
This is what makes me think that the rumours aren't true, because this doesn't sound like Nintendo, if I'm totally honest. But I mean, they're saying that in handheld it'll run at 1080p and 4K on the TV. So there's obviously some, the dock will actually serve a purpose by the sound of it. But
yeah, maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean,
but it doesn't sound like Nintendo to be chasing. No, the 4K
that's what I'm saying. Like, it's bizarre and doesn't really sound believable. What does sound believable is, in the same breath, they said a lot of this is from Bloomberg, who sort of reported it. They said that the new model is said to have more interactivity, which does sound like something Nintendo would say. It's a more interactive experience, which just kind of like, what the hell does that mean?
Do you think they're updating the motion controls and gonna
maybe? Yeah.
Is it a focus to try and bring back the glory days of the original Wii and give? Because there's motion in there, right? And there's also the haptic feedback, but that's never really felt present in any of the games.
It hasn't. I mean, part of me. Because they're also saying they're going to get rid of the Joy-Con drift problem, which instantly says to me, old Joy-Cons aren't likely to be compatible with it, which would be slightly annoying, because a lot of people have bought a lot of Joy-Cons, and extra Joy-Cons, so that they can play with friends and all this kind of thing. But if they're improving on that, I mean, I might be wrong. They might be compatible and all that kind of thing. But yeah, it does make you think maybe it's going to be some kind of upgraded Joy-Con that will allow you to do mad motion control stuff. What I want is a new WarioWare game on the Switch. And if they do that, I want to see some mad stuff of like crazy interactivity. That's what I like from Nintendo. So that would be great, Tar. But yeah, it's exciting. And I said to you before we started that the Tokyo Game Show is coming up very soon, within the next couple of weeks at least. And that could be a place that Nintendo turn up and finally, state their claim and talk about what they've been doing. I'd be hugely surprised if they did do that, just because this year they have been more silent than flipping Wembley Stadium at the moment when they're playing the football, because there's no crowd in.
Nice.
Cheers, man. That was a great analogy, wasn't it? Yeah.
I mean, rumour or not, it's just nice to hear that something's happening.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Especially with all these really crappy mini directs that just bring nothing to the table. It's just
more like indirect.
Oh.
Zing! Yeah. So let's hope it's true, Nintendo. Thanks for the little taste.
Yeah.
Wasteland 3 is out on Xbox and PC. You going to be playing that?
Probably not. I mean, if there's just a big gap where I'm not really playing anything, it could be something that I just load up and give a go. But I haven't actually played any of the Wastelands. They're sort of continuing the original vibe of what Fallout 1 and 2 was before it got turned into a sort of third-person adventure RPG situation. So it's a top-down sort of, whatever you'd call it.
Yeah, well, I will talk about it briefly because I actually gave it a try. So I'll talk about it when we get round to what we've been playing recently.
But yeah, probably not. But if you tell me you really like it, maybe I'll have a look. Marvel's Avengers is out on Thursday, the 3rd of September. Crikey, that's soon. In fact, that'll be out by the time this podcast is out.
Yeah.
Did you play the beta? Yeah. Joseph Bellum?
No, I didn't. I didn't have access to it on the Xbox, so I did not play it.
I did potentially have access to it, but chose not to because I think it looks shit. I have a couple of friends that played it. Mixed thoughts on it. One of my friends in particular said, you know what, I actually thought the gameplay side of it was kind of fun. Another friend of mine said, I'm really not understanding why it's a games of service game. I don't think it suits it. It sounds like it'll just be a lot of bother and hassle. But he did also add, but like if there were 4 or 5 of us that were just like all picking it up and playing, maybe it's something you could jump into and actually would have fun with.
I think it would be fun with friends. Yeah, I'm the same. I've heard so many mixed things, but I have seen that if you are someone that is a fan of the Marvel roster of characters and superheroes in general, and you like loot-based games, then there's something here for you. I've also heard that like the first hour or so of the story, which is what a lot of people have played, is actually really good, and is good world-building stuff. But yeah, also just a lot of mixed things. Like apparently the PC beta was like horrifically filled with bugs, and just some of the loot stuff and cosmetic stuff is just really weirdly done. But yeah, we'll see. It's coming out in 2 days for us. It'll already be out for all you listeners. We'll see what the reviews say. Finally, this is a very exciting one. There's been more talk about the Mass Effect Remasters trilogy, which we all crave and need in our lives. Rumored, you've put here that it's rumored for the 29th of September. I saw some point in October. Where have you heard 29th of Sep from?
Google.
Nice. So sometime in the next couple of months, there's rumours that it could be out, which is very exciting.
It's either the end of this month or somewhere in October. We know not exactly when. That's the rumour I picked up. Can't remember from where, but I did Google it. But that's what I came up with.
I'm very intrigued to see, one, what platforms it's going to come out on.
Everything.
And two, what exactly they have done. If it's just purely we've put a new coat of paint on it, or if they have gone in and sort of altered with anything.
They're not going to have redone the
within
story
the game
of 3, if that's what you're thinking.
No, I was more thinking about like the ridiculously long lifts in Mass Effect 1 loading from area to area, if they're going to find a way of fixing that, or the horrendously slow, was it called the Mako, the car that went on, you could go onto planets with? Those moments in the first Mass Effect.
And probing in Mass Effect 2.
Probing in Mass Effect, which I actually enjoyed more than the Mako in Mass Effect 1.
Well, yes.
But yeah.
I'm not saying
I'm interested to see if they do anything with those elements of the games, but regardless, just very, very excited. If I can get that on my Switch, I'm going to be absolutely jazzed.
Yeah, I won't.
I'm going to be absolutely jazzed because you won't.
No. Anything that's shooting, I just won't buy on Switch.
Oh, but it's barely shooting. It's not first person.
Come off it. It's loads of shooting. It's third person,
barely, mate.
but it's beige. I'm not using that. I'm not using that crappy analog stick to shoot, I'm afraid.
Oh, but I need an RPG on the go. It's great.
All of Final Fantasy and Chrono Trigger's on there.
I've got Final Fantasy X.
Trials of Mana, or whatever it's called.
No, not all that crap.
Child of Mana. Can't remember.
Childs. So yeah, Mass Effect Remastered Trilogy coming out soon, baby. That'd be great.
Wee why. PC hardware chat warning. Wee why.
Hey Bellum, we hinted that we were going to do some timey-wimey sort of editing movie magic.
Yeah.
And since then, we have had 2 huge pieces of news, including the aforementioned Nvidia RTX 30 series graphics card release with all those delicious specs and numbers.
Oh, so many numbers, Mark. I mean, if it weren't for you, I would be lost in those numbers.
I'm lost in those numbers. It's all very exciting. They're really putting the hammer down on AMD's graphics department, which have got to clap back with something big.
Yeah,
they're out of the game. We won't bore you with all the numbers and that sort of thing, but what I will say is, if you want to go watch the Nvidia thing, they started off with a big celebration of all their previous series of cards and their innovations and bigging themselves up as they would do, I suppose. And then started talking about all their AI learning stuff, which is all very exciting and very clever. Again, go watch it if you're into that sort of thing.
I've got to say,
bore you here.
For someone who's not into the PC stuff at all, I have actually gone back and watched it, and it is just really interesting from a point of view in terms of like in just like the steps that technology is making and like how everything works in terms of like graphical processing and stuff. It is really interesting. And yeah, I was distracted by all of the numbers that I didn't understand, but it is a really cool video. So I would implore people to watch it.
Absolutely, go do that. Basically, a lot of the numbers, talking about transistors and all this sort of thing, are double what people were estimating would be on these cards.
Wow,
so
okay.
The jump is ginormous. So the 20 series cards were like obviously a decent jump, but the ray tracing technology was very new. So being an early adopter, it was more expensive. It was a new thing. So if you had a game that has ray tracing and you turned it on, you were really only getting, anywhere depending on the card, 30 to 60 FPS. Whereas these cards, mama, you're going to be running at 2K, 4K with ray tracing on, and it's going to be absolutely sweet and dandy. Not only that, the prices are cheaper, which people are speculating whether that's to put the hammer down even harder on AMD or to compete with the console market. Because a lot of the chat was, these consoles might be getting so powerful that like even like PC SSDs and graphics cards are going to look like not as big and shiny in comparison. Yeah. But this 3000 series has come out swinging saying, nope, see ya. 8K resolution at 60 FPS with ray tracing, see your consoles, and all that sort of good PC MR stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, very quickly, I didn't predict, I knew that there was going to be the sort of big cards shown, and they did that with the GeForce RTX 3070, which is starting at $499. This is dollars, by the way, $499. That will be closer to £600, I believe. The 3080, which will be $699, and the 3090, which is a replacement for the Titan graphics card series, which is a humongous, ginormous card. This is the card that can do 8K resolution.
Is this the one that he was holding?
60 FPS.
Is this the big like chunky boy?
This is the one. Yeah, this is the one that like looked like he was holding a newborn baby. It was that big
from the future.
But that. Yeah, that's coming up with 24 gigabytes of GDDR6 VRAM at $1499. So it's very expensive. It's the high top end, but it's all very exciting. And I think if you bought a 20 series in the last few weeks or a couple months even, you're going to be a little upset because not only are these cheaper, but the performance is out of this world compared to that gen.
What series have you got again? Where do you sit in these things?
So I'm the series underneath the 20 series. So
okay.
So when this comes out, I'll be 2 generations behind. But that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm in that position where like my card is still relevant. I'm not really looking to upgrade yet. Like it's such a good series that it's really tempting, but equally this card's fine. I could wait. Yeah. I could genuinely wait for the next series even, and or the one after. It depends where what I want, what I need. But they're available very soon. The 3070 won't be available till October, but the 3080 and the 3090 is September 17th and the 24th respectively.
Great stuff. It's funny. We're going to be talking more about fanboys, but already the fanboys are all over Twitter. I've seen a lot of Sony ponies saying, that the Xbox Series X is even more obsolete now that they've come out with this card. Like you said, I suppose. I mean, there will definitely be some thinking in terms of the way they're pricing it and what it can do versus these new consoles. It's just funny because who would have thought a company bringing out a graphics card would be, fodder for gaming, video console gaming fanboys to be raising it as something to be brought into the debate. I would not have thought that.
That's what we need. More kindling to that fire.
Yeah, let's fuel that debate fire. Well, it's not debate. It's just ugly birds being thrown at each other. But yeah. It's interesting. It's exciting. I'm not a PC guy, but if I had loads of money, I'd do an absolute Henry Cavill and I'd build myself a bad boy with this new GeForce Nokia N-Gage.
Oh, dearie me. I'm really hoping Henry comes out with another video where he just like throws his. I assume he bought a 2080 Ti. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I'm hoping
probably.
he just does a video where he just bins it and has a 3090.
Yeah, he's in the camp of the people that must be kicking themselves right now.
Yeah, but he could also afford it, so it's okay.
Yeah, very, very true. And like you said, there was two pieces of big news, and classic Nintendo have just absolutely dropped out of nowhere. They're clearly so terrified by all the Nintendo fans who keep getting disappointed by all of these directs now that they're not foreshadowing them in any way whatsoever, and they're just putting stuff out. I mean, there were lots of rumors that this was going to come out on Thursday or Friday of this week, but they've just dropped it. And it was a sort of a mini direct showcasing how Nintendo are going to celebrate Mario's 35th anniversary. He's an old fella now these days, is Mazza. There were some announcements that we kind of already speculated that we thought were coming, and a good few surprises as well, and some weird Nintendo shit that we always expect to see. Yeah. But the big boy that we had kind of speculated, and we've talked about, one of the things that Nintendo have had in the bank is they are releasing Super Mario 3D All Stars, and they're releasing it on the 18th of September on the Nintendo Switch. So that's good. We had talked about this, hadn't we? How it's something that was going to come.
Yeah, Nintendo, they're such wind-up merchants that I'm really annoyed by this video. Not least of all because they just were farted out on YouTube with probably with a tweet or something, and when everyone just went which is like just absolutely zero foreshadowing apart from some leaks. That's annoying. But with this 3D Mario All Stars thing, Mario 64, right? Yeah, great game. Like, I'd probably play it again. Like, can't really argue with that. Super Mario Sunshine split the crowd a little bit. I'm not into it. I've no interest in playing it. I genuinely love Super Mario Galaxy 1, but 2's not in there. And I was really hoping that we were just going to get those games together. I wouldn't even care if it was a separate thing and Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 was just the Mario Galaxy HD Remaster Collection or something.
Yes. Yeah.
But the fact that it's just the first game and it's bundled with a game I'm not going to buy, I'm looking at that trio and just thinking, I don't really want this, because I'm just going to have a whole game that I've tried to play 2 or 3 times and don't like, and I'm not going to try again.
I would definitely give Sunshine another go just because I played like the first third of it and I would be interested in trying it again. But I agree that it's the one that gets me least excited out of those 3.
Yeah.
I mean, there's already people that are upset about various things about this. People with imagining that Super Mario 64 at least would get some sort of remake, but it seems to just be all the original textures, and they've just basically upped the resolution and made it super crisp. But it's just
made it
essentially
16:9.
Yeah, they've done that. They've enhanced it, but it's not a remake by any stretch of the imagination. Also, where the hell is Mario Galaxy 2? Weirdly, also at the end of the direct, they sort of had like this medley of loads of like the origins of Mario up until today, and it just skipped out Galaxy 2. It went from Galaxy 1 straight to Odyssey. So it's kind of glaringly obvious that they're ignoring it, which makes you think either they're like, crap, we haven't done it, let's ignore it, or they have got something planned. Something else that makes me think this potentially is that they said this weird thing that the game will only be available on the eShop and to buy physical copies of until March 2021. So they put this sort of deadline on it, which is really strange.
I think the deadline's only on the physical copy. Is that
No,
right?
no, it's the eShop as well. It 100% is. They will be taken down. It's a limited. So they're doing it as well with the like, which we'll talk about in a sec. There's sort of this weird like Super Mario Brothers Battle Royale kind of thing, and that's got the same limit on it. So it makes you think: one, what are they doing in March? Is this when this new console is going to come out and everything's going to get a total, I don't know, they're going to reshift the way it's all done, or is in March? Are they just going to add Galaxy 2 to this collection, but they have to kind of take it down off the I don't know. Or it's just Nintendo being usually as bloody weird as they already are, and just doing this to make people think, well, I've got to get it now before March because it'll be gone then, which is just the weirdest strategizing I've ever heard.
And that's really annoying for me because, like, I want to play Mario Galaxy 2, but I don't want to buy this collection. But like now that they're like basically threatening that it's only available for a time, I'm like, okay. So I like at this point I might as well just go buy a second-hand Wii so I can play 1 and 2. Do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Like Mario 64 is great, but I'm not that interested in playing it.
Yeah.
If it was a remake, I'd be like, oh, you know what? Maybe it's time.
Yeah.
Maybe I will replay it. What a game. But I'm not that interested. The other thing was that's not included is Super Mario 3D World, which is a game I never played, and I've got a couple of friends that just say it's superb, and prefer it to Galaxy, and some people prefer Mario Galaxy 2 to 1. But anyway, but it's not in the collection. It's its own game with this plus Bowser's Fury thing.
Which I'm guessing is
I don't know whether that was.
I'm assuming it's additional story, like DLC vibes. I don't really know.
Yeah, I don't know whether it was part of the original. Is what I was wondering.
Yeah.
But having not played it, like I'm obviously interested in that, but it's not part of the collection.
Yeah.
So for me, it's just making this collection like less and less worth it.
It's
for me.
weird that they've called it 3D All Stars, and the one game that had 3D in its title, Super Mario 3D World, isn't in the collection. And obviously, it's a different sort of style game. I get it. It was released on a handheld console, but still, yeah. Odd. So yeah, like you said, Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury will be coming out on February 21st, 2021. So that one's a little while off, but I'm excited for that. I do want to play it.
Though.
Yeah, I am looking forward to that. I'm also, with this and the previous one, I'm very interested to see how they're going to price them. No doubt it'll be £50 for each because that's what they seem to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Next one was a little bit of a weird one because at first I was like, this is stupid. This is classic weird Nintendo. But as it went on, I was thinking this could be weirdly fun, and I was starting to have ideas about it. But it is so basically it's Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, which basically allows you to build a sort of virtual track, but it's also a physical track, and you can race around your own home because you've got essentially a remote control Mario in a cart, and he's got a little camera on the back of his cart, and it sort of uses AR to track the room, and you can build a track. And it's a strange thing. It's quite clever how they make it happen.
Oh, it's so clever. I watched this thinking this is superb and utterly useless, and I will never buy this. But I really enjoyed the spectacle of it. So, just to clarify, you have an actual RC car of Mario or Luigi. I'm sure they'll have Peach and Yoshi, at a later date. Yeah, if you own an RC car, you know that you stare at the car and move it around your room. In this case, you'll be staring at your Switch through the camera of the car with the augmented reality adding boxes and items.
Yeah, playing normal Mario Kart through your Switch. Yeah,
but with a real cart going around your room, which presumably you won't really look at because you're looking at the screen. So it's very weird. The thing is that not everyone has the giant living rooms that they...
and without carpets on the floor, I'm guessing, because that'll rubbish.
Yeah, with no carpets. And it's just, like, you're going to, like, get bored of, like, trying to figure out how to not just do a circle or figure eight around, like, the small areas of your house where you perhaps don't have carpet. It's just not... This just isn't going to really work.
But you know that there will be some
homes.
people out there that get like mad creative with it and create these like insane courses where they're like going under stuff and like those videos of people where they have like dominoes falling over. People think of amazing things. But it seems like the kind of thing that if your kids have a Nintendo Switch, it's a cool Christmas present. But it's not something...
It'll be the coolest Christmas present ever.
It'll be like, whoa, it's Mario and he's going around the room and I'm controlling him and playing it on the Switch. It's like so many things going on at the same time. But I would never ask for this as a Christmas present because it's just like, you'll play with it.
You can't even play it online because your cart can't be in my house going around the same track.
No.
So it's, as I said, it's really like clever and I smiled through the whole trailer, but it is utter useless.
Yeah. You'll play with it for a week and then you'll be like, okay, that's
Mario
done.
Kart 8's better.
Yeah. The next one was a really weird one, which was a Game & Watch Super Mario Brothers sort of device, basically. So if you remember the old Game & Watch devices, those gold and with red trimming things that you could get that played Mr. Game & Watch, they're basically bringing out a one that's specific for the original Super Mario Brothers, and it's this little console, and it's also a clock, and it does some other mini games and stuff. Weird little niche piece of kind of collectible device thing. Is out on the November the 13th. Yeah. Not for me.
It's exactly what you said. It's a collectible item. There are plenty of people out there that just love these kind of things and have the old Game & Watches. So this is a thing for the collectors out there. It's not
hardcore Nintendo fans that love to collect and want to be able to say, I've got every Nintendo device ever made.
I've got all the Game & Watch. They're worth at least 50 quid all put together. So fantastic.
Yeah.
The next thing was, you mentioned it earlier, it's called Super Mario Bros. 35, which is a Mario Battle Royale, which comes out on October 1st, 2020. Which Mario is it? Mario.
So it's the original Super Mario Brothers again. So the first ever Mario game that came out on the NES.
Right.
And it's basically taking a little bit of inspiration from Tetris 99, which was quite a successful game on the Switch, which is where you're playing with loads of other people at the same time. But instead of it sort of being multiplayer and that all of the players are in the same game world, everyone's in their own game world, but what you do in your playthrough affects their game. So if you kill an enemy on your run, so you're running around, jumping on enemies on Koopa's heads, pudding,
sound more like Peter Sellers than Mario.
Jumping on people's heads. If you kill an enemy, the enemy you kill will get added to one of the other 35 players' games, and it all gets mayhem. It looks kind of mad and maybe something that's fun. If it's free to play, I'll probably give it a little go. Original Super Mario Brothers is always fun.
I'm not interested in this format, to be honest with you. I got to say, it's not. I probably won't be playing that, but there you go.
Yeah, no, it's a bit of a weird one, something to pad out the direct a bit. Then finally, Super Mario All Stars, which was a game that came out on I think this was on the SNES, not the original NES. So I've gone with those pronunciations of the abbreviations there, which makes some people annoyed. So basically, it's a collection of Super Mario Brothers.
SNES and Wii.
SNES and Wii?
Yeah. Originally SNES, obviously, but it also had a collection on the Wii.
Oh, okay, cool. So it's Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers The Lost Levels, Super Mario Brothers 2, and Super Mario Brothers 3, all with enhanced 16-bit graphics, and if you are a Switch Online member, which I believe both you and I are, it's out now for you and you just get access to it, so go and play that. It's kind of really fun and upgraded ways of playing the original Super Mario Brothers games. Brilliant games, great level design, go check them out.
I can also confirm, having just looked on the eStore, that the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection, including Mario 64, Sunshine and Galaxy, is $49.99 and is available for pre-order.
Oh my gosh.
It's too much.
See,
it's too much for three old games with one I don't want to play.
Yeah. It's really annoying because that is something that a lot of people will want to get, but you've outpriced a lot of people who would get it on a bit of a whim.
Yeah, if that was 30 quid, if that was 35, I'd be like, this is pushing it.
Yeah.
But if it was 30 quid, I'd go, oh man, I'm going to be pissed having Sunshine just sitting there. But actually, maybe this is within reach now. 50 quid.
Yeah.
Just, that's completely outrageous. These are three old games. 64 has been released 48 billion times and is due a proper remake. They're kind of taking the piss as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. I mean, I already own all three of those games and I can easily play two of them, as I have a Wii and I have Sunshine and Galaxy, so I can play both of them as it is. So it's kind of like, why am I spending 50 quid on, like you said, three old games that they haven't really done much to? Nintendo, you give with one hand and take with the other. You get us excited, and then when it comes to it, it's kind of like, oh, no, this isn't as good as it looks. So, yeah. Thanks, but no thanks, but thanks, Nintendo.
So there's obviously like there's obviously like a load of other like potential news and rumors that probably aren't worth going into. So like Sony pricing, Xbox pricing, again, Nintendo Directs that have not really been announced, but there's so many fakes. So I think that's it for the news today. Because otherwise, if we're putting more rumors out there and incorrect info,
we don't want to just be continuing to turn the rumor mill all the time. But yeah, when something is concrete, we'll try and report it. But there's just been so many rumors of console price and stuff that it's a new one every week, and it's just not worth telling you every time we've got a new one, really.
Hey, can we talk about going back to Gamescom?
Oh, going all the way back.
Yeah, all the way back. We're going to talk a little bit about fanboyism, but directly related to a Twitter thread, which we've both found hilarious to sort of scroll through. Gamescom did a load of awards of various things, mostly awards for games that aren't even out yet. So really, it's just a hype train and doesn't really mean anything. It was
weird, wasn't it? It was very odd.
Super weird and slightly meaningless, if I can say that out loud.
Yeah.
However, one of the awards, which potentially less meaningless because it actually had a point, was Most Wanted Tech. And they gave this to the Xbox Series X, which obviously has just started a whole fanboy war, which is funny but slightly pathetic.
Yeah.
And if I may start with someone, I'm not going to give their Twitter handles out because we don't want to start any beef with anyone in particular. Someone has come out and said, I have proof, and has come back with 4 different Twitter handles that have all put out essentially which next-gen console are you most excited for. And I'll just read out some of the results. So one of them was from the Game Awards official site. Yeah. They said, by this time next year, where do you think you'll be playing most of your games? Xbox Series X came at 20%. PC 21%, Nintendo Switch 19%, but at the top, PlayStation 5 40%. Andrew Reiner, know what you know now. Which next-gen system are you most excited to get? Xbox Series X 36%, and again PlayStation 5 on top at 64%. IGN themselves also did a poll. Which next-gen console are you most excited about? PS5 75%, and Xbox Series X 25%. And finally, John Lineman did another one. We filmed a video discussing the MS show this morning, but I'm curious to hear everyone else's thoughts. Which platform has you most excited? At the bottom, Sega Saturn, 21%. I think that was a gag. Xbox Series X, 32%. And at the top again, PlayStation 5, 47%. Now, that is hilarious and a very good clapback. I suppose one thing we should perhaps point out that I don't know if it's relevant or not, you can tell me your thoughts, is every sort of platform or media outlet is going to have a slightly different self-selecting group.
Yeah, and bias,
like a slight bias. I'd like to think that these people, the Game Awards in particular and IGN, are not biased in terms of just happy to report on everything. That's what you hope for.
Yeah. So I meant more in terms of they have a fan base that is weighted in certain camps.
Yes, that's what I mean. But that could be true. So I'm thinking that as hilarious as this is, it's only going to be... It's 4 polls that all came out with PS5 on top. But like each one, I don't know. I don't know how relevant that all is what I'm saying. Twitter is a fickle place. It's a toilet wall.
Yeah.
And Gamescom coming out and doing this. I mean, where do they get their votes from?
I have no idea. These awards seem to be totally meaningless and come from... what was one of the ones that really confused me? I mean, things like best RPG was Cyberpunk, a game that's obviously not out yet. I mean, obviously there's a lot going around about it, and everything we've seen looks great, but it's not out yet, so we don't know if it's the best RPG. But the most wanted tech is such a weird way of phrasing it. It's not saying best tech, and there's been a lot of the Microsoft fanboys coming in the replies saying, yeah, well, it's the most powerful console, so obviously it's won. But that's not even what the award is for. It's not for best tech. It's not for the most powerful tech. It's literally for the most wanted or the most popular upcoming next gen console.
Yeah.
And how have they picked this? Who's picked it? I don't think they even said, like you said, who's voting. So it just means nothing. It just means absolutely nothing. But regardless of that, thousands of people have found it very upsetting, or they're very happy about it. And the replies in this thread are just absolutely out of this world, and loads of people putting in screenshots of the power of the two consoles, what their kind of, their CPU and everything like that, what they're going to be capable of. People are saying, why wasn't the PS5 on that list? Something's going on here. It's fixed. It's, all this kind of thing. And it's just, I mean, so I was under the impression that, well, especially from the Xbox side, they were saying, we don't really care about the console war anymore. It's not really we don't really have a horse in that race anymore. And there were loads of talks up until, I would say, earlier this year from a lot of the kind of games media saying, like, the console war is sort of dying out as a concept. But when you look at things like this, it is, I would say this year, it has been, I don't know if it's just because nobody's got anything to do because it's flipping lockdown, but I would say the Sony ponies and the Xbox have been at war more than ever.
It's the same story. It's just the same thing every time. We both agree that the Xbox One sort of got off on the wrong foot and never really recovered. They're making strides in a few places, and they've obviously had setbacks now, what with Halo and blah 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 blah, but it's just the same old boring stuff of people just like whacking each other with large bamboo sticks, and just like it's utterly pointless. It's kind of funny, but you just know that a very large percentage of these people aren't just trolling and being funny or putting in something sarcastic. They really mean it, and they really want to back their pony. And I don't really get it. I understand being invested in something. You're an Xbox guy, and willing it to do well. But in terms of just like taking chunks out of each other,
and also just
bizarre.
like celebrating when something unfortunate happens to your, I suppose they see as their rival, then actively going out there and celebrating it. So things like, obviously, when the Halo Infinite stuff came out, all of the PlayStation fans were like, ha, and like doing all of the Craig. I mean, the Craig memes were funny. Obviously, I find them funny. But then on the other side, it's stuff like, them saying like there's been more stuff out this week about the PS5 only being backwards compatible to PS4 but not PlayStation 1, 2 and 3. So obviously all the Xbox fanboys are coming out being like, "Wait, you're not going to be able to play any of that stuff on your console." It's just like celebrating things that are unfortunate things. It's just such a bizarre, like, what you're not in primary school, and it's not like you're not on a team. You're not part of any team here.
We should be on one team, Ballum, and that's gamers.
We're all gamers.
We should be, willing each of them to do well, because it's better for competition. It's better for the industry.
Yeah.
And willing for these things to be fixed. So of course, like, the PlayStation 5 should be fully backwards compatible, not necessarily with the discs, but digitally as well. That's something Xbox is nailing. We want Halo to do well. We don't actually, we're not laughing at it because it looks poop. We're saying it looks poop because we want better.
Yeah, we're disappointed, and like you said, it just seems
it's not ha 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 Xbox ha 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 ha. It's, this looks poop. Can we have a good game, please?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there is a voice of reason here.
Give me the voice. I want it.
And I will give you the Twitter handle. It's at SketchesLife04, who's just written, "Imagine caring about the Xbox versus PlayStation. Just enjoy your console and don't have a go at people who have the other console. Just enjoy gaming."
Oh man, that is the voice of reason. That's what we all needed, and that's what we should end this discussion on. Because I think we share the same point of view in that we want everyone to do really well. Yeah, we get salty sometimes and like to have a laugh about it when people don't get it bang on, but at the end of the day, we want everyone to do well, and we want good games. I don't have a PlayStation, but whenever I watch people play PlayStation games like The Last of Us 2, I think, flipping it, well done, that's great. So enjoy the things that you're passionate about, but don't hate on other people for not liking the same things as you. I just don't get it. I mean, not that
Yeah.
anyone listens to us for life advice, or we're in no pedestal to preach, but maybe
Just chill out, man. Go out for a walk in the wind and listen to the trees rustle occasionally, and hold hands with someone.
that sounds great, man.
Have a coffee. Anyway, enough of that. Should we talk about what we've been playing? 'Cause,
Yeah.
it has been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I think we could probably review a thing or two. I don't know if you've played any new titles or whether you've gone back to some stuff.
Well, a bit of both, actually. Yeah, played some games. It's weird doing this at the end of the episode. It's quite nice, though, at the same time, to kind of bring it to a close. Yeah, I've played some stuff. So, again, I always say it's the joys and the wonders of Xbox Game Pass, ladies and gentlemen. It's the best deal in gaming. I know we've just talked about fanboys and how terrible they are, but I'm more than happy to promote Xbox Game Pass. Everything that gets added, I'm just like, heck yeah, let's give it a go. Let's try that stuff out. So I downloaded Tell Me Why Episode 1, which is a new story game from the makers of Life is Strange, Don't Nod Entertainment. It's a Marmite kind of genre. You either like it or you don't. You could call it a walking sim, but there's a bit more going on. There's a lot of dialogue options and chat and decision making and the odd kind of almost quick time event-esque thing going on. And it's a really cool story, a really interesting and compelling story. It's got a lot of praise because it features a transgender character, and apparently it's a very good portrayal. It's not just like a token thing that's been put in to be like, hey, we're woke. It's like an actually really good portrayal. And the story is great, and just even in the first episode there's some really good twists and turns. It's a little bit slow paced at times. It's a lot of walking around a room, and there's like 10 different things you can examine, and sometimes it's like a piece of paper that has like an address on, and it's like, why? I don't need to look at that. And sometimes it's like a really long diary entry, and it's just a lot of stuff to look at. And being someone who needs to look and do every single thing you possibly can do, sometimes it feels it just takes the wind out of your sails a little bit. But I really like where the plot is going with it. It's a really, really cool plot. So I would suggest that if people are a fan of story games, check it out. You look like you want to say something, Mark.
Give me that title again.
Tell Me Why.
Excellent.
No, tell me why you want to know. No, I'm joking. It's called Tell Me Why. I'm joking.
Yeah, you got me. What's that? Is that Xbox?
I think it'll be PC. I assume it'll be across the Game Pass family. Cool. Another one. Wasteland 3, we mentioned it earlier in the games in the news that it's just come out, so I dove into that, and we had talked about it in the past and how it's the kind of the origins of the sort of Fallout series, and I can definitely see in just sort of like the post-apocalyptic vibe of it all and that kind of thing where it's come from, but I wasn't expecting it to be a turn-based sort of tactical, like XCOM kind of game. I didn't realize it was that. I thought it was going to be more, the top, almost more like Diablo-esque kind of thing. But no, it's the turn-based tactical combat, which I wasn't expecting, but I think I could warm into it. I maybe should have chosen a slightly easier difficulty just because it kind of throws you in expecting really how to know what you're doing, and I didn't really know what I was doing. But it seems like something I could get into. It did feel slightly odd playing that kind of game on console, on a TV. It feels like the kind of thing I want to be really up close, playing it on a computer screen. But yeah, I didn't play loads of it, but I'm definitely going to revisit it. There's loads of loot to be diving through. There's dialogue options. There's fun chat. You can make decisions that have effects on who's going to live and who's going to die. It looks like a bit of fun. I've been playing a lot. Playing a lot of Battletoads, which
how's that?
I'm actually really enjoying. Again, it's a bit of a divisive one. Some people are thinking it's crap. Some people think it's great. It's a really retro style game in that it's like beat 'em up, Streets of Rage style combat. Then there's levels where you're in like a sort of like speeder bike kind of thing, and you've got dodge obstacles. It's all very simple stuff, but it feels like you're playing a Saturday morning children's cartoon, but with like adult writing. So it's just got this really fun feel to it. It's got really funny writing. The visuals are great.
Yeah.
The combat and gameplay isn't that deep, but you just you go along with it just because it's fun and it's funny. So I've been enjoying that, and there's loads of stuff there's like collectibles and that to keep you wanting more. So I like that. Probably give it like a 7 out of 10, but it's good. And then lastly, I went onto the Nintendo Switch sale, and I downloaded the Hotline Miami collection, which you actually recommended to me.
Excellent.
And I played a good amount of that. It's a bit samey, the first one. It's just like go in a room, hack a load of people, repeat. But the vibe of it is great, and it's frustrating enough to make me want to keep going and keep trying to beat the challenges. So Hotline Miami, I know it's been around for a long time, but it's a lot of fun. And yeah, it was in the Switch sale, and it's one of those things where it's just like, yep, might as well. So that's what I've been playing, Mark. How about you?
Excellent. Just a couple very quickly. Been playing a little bit more Dota 2 with the boys. Always fun to dive into that, and slightly frustrating, but we've had some closer games recently, rather than the toxic behaviour and wipes that happen often. I've gone back to a little bit of Modern Warfare. Been playing some Plunder.
Nice.
With a couple of friends of mine. I very, very, very briefly downloaded Pillars of Eternity.
Oh, yeah, you said you were going to do that.
And I think I've come to the realisation that I'm just not a CRPG player.
Okay.
Which I've hinted towards before. There's something about those games that I just cannot get into. I mean, I played Neverwinter Nights back in the day, and I never really played Baldur's Gate. Those passed me by, really. I don't know if Divinity technically can be counted as I guess it can. I guess it is a CRPG. And I didn't like the first one, but Divinity 2 is a lot better. The combat's pretty great as well. And the writing is more stable. But Pillars of Eternity, I got as far as creating the character, going in, reading the first dialogue, and just went, I cannot be bothered. I just took this big sigh and just went, I am not in the frame of mind for this at all. And so uninstalled it. So yeah, I'm sure it is. What does
the C stand for in CRPG, by the way?
Computer RPG. It's where I don't know why it's called that. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's just where you control a party, and you control all the members of a party in a RPG.
Okay.
Don't know why. It could be called D&D RPG for all I care if it's a party-based thing. But there you go, CRPG. Another one is, of course, Rogue Legacy 2. I'm loving the graphical style. It just looks really sweet and crisp and suits the game a lot.
Great.
The only issue right now is that I've kind of rinsed all the content. The only thing I haven't done is actually defeat the first boss, because he is quite difficult. So I just need a little bit more perseverance to do that. But in terms of what's available in the skill tree, I've maxed it. I think I've gotten all the runes and things that are currently available. There might be a couple more that are in the game at the moment that I don't know about. Done a few of the secret challenges and things. The second biome is due to release in 48 days or something.
Biome?
But the third, biome, as in area.
Okay, right,
Different world area, biome. The third biome is available to play, but I don't think it's complete. But that's such a level jump. And because of the upgrades and things you can get at the moment, if you go over there, everything is just exponentially harder and does so much damage that you're just, unless you're very skilled at 2D, roguelikes, you will just struggle to get through it. So I rarely venture over there. 4 classes available at the moment: Barbarian, Knight, Mage, and Archer. The Archer is just a very different style of gameplay that I personally find very difficult. But could be rewarding if you get into it. Mage is insanely difficult, and you would have to be insane to main the Mage class. Barbarian is great, Knight is great. Those are the two that if you're getting serious or want to go get some work done and defeat the boss, you're probably playing those two. And in terms of all the traits and personality things, I'm hoping to see more of the old ones put in, some of the just silly ones like dyslexia and everything just being written in a complete mess in the game and that sort of thing. But there are loads of new ones that are just really fun and really making the game dynamic. They've also added a risk reward system, which wasn't in the first one. So in the first one, you could have traits and personality quirks that actually do make the game more difficult but wouldn't alter the game, whereas in this one, if you pick traits and personality things that are going to make the game more difficult, you will gain a bonus percentage gold. So that's just a really sensible, positive, and fairly obvious change to make. So yeah, I've kind of rinsed the game for what it is because it's early access. So there's not a lot left for me to do yet, apart from defeating that boss. But thumbs up from me, I definitely get it.
Great.
And you should buy Rogue Legacy 1 on Switch because it's great.
There will have been a lot of fans of this podcast sweating about whether or not you were going to mention Rogue Legacy 2 this week, and I feel like they've been fulfilled. They've had their wishes fulfilled. Thumbs up from Mark on Rogue Legacy 2, everybody. Tuck in.
Another game I've been playing is Risk of Rain 2, which is the most fun I've had in a video game for a long time. It's another sort of roguelike situation. I didn't even know what the first one was. The first game was a 2D sort of side-scrolling version of it.
Vibe, wasn't it?
And that has actually had a co-op update on PC and Switch, so you can play that one in co-op.
I seem to remember the reason why I'd never played that was because the view was so panned out and your character was like a tiny pixel on the screen, and I was just like, this looks mad. So I'm not even going to try Risk of Rain 1, but the second one looks really different and might be something I want to give a go.
So everyone was really surprised when they made Risk of Rain 2 and made it 3D, and how well they transitioned it over, while still keeping the same sort of vibe and gameplay. The music is absolutely superb. It's like spacey synth rock, and then it's or like sort of synth wave kind of stuff, and then suddenly goes into like prog rock, but like space age prog rock, and it's ace. It's so good. The soundtrack is banging. Graphically, it's definitely got a graphical style. It's sort of cell shaded, but not in that way that you're immediately imagining. It definitely has a graphical style. Basically, the idea is that each level you're looking for the teleporter, and the game, as the timer goes on, is consistently progressing in difficulty from easy to medium to hard to I can't remember, insane to ICU to basically the end difficulty is just a complete scrolling thing of just ha 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 in capitals.
All right, okay.
So it just spawns more monsters, and bosses become standard monsters, and all the time you're basically killing things for money. And you have the choice of staying in a world for as long as you can handle to collect all the boxes of loot that require money and drones and that sort of thing. And every single loot that you get attaches to your character, so aesthetically changes your character. So if you get a little missile launcher, that's a little missile launcher you get on your shoulder. If you get a pair of glasses, those pair of glasses will go on your character. So you end up just looking utterly ridiculous. And it's just so much fun. The gameplay loop is just awesome. It just gets so silly when you get all the speed upgrades and damage upgrades and defensive stuff and healing stuff and the different ways that they change your interactivity with the game. Loads of monsters, loads of different designs. It's very silly. There are loads of characters to unlock through different means. I've got all but one, which requires a very specific, I don't want to spoil anything, but each character requires like a specific thing that you have to go do or work out. And I've worked out how to get the last character I need, but I just haven't been able to do it because by the time I get there, I'm in I'm just getting absolutely pummeled. But highly recommend.
Sounds great. Sounds really satisfying and fun and a bit silly as well. It's not out on. It's only a PC at the moment, isn't it? I think it's coming to other consoles, but by the end of the year,
it's on Switch.
Is it? Okay.
It is on Switch, but I don't know about PS4, Xbox One. You'd have to have a look.
So it's early. Okay, so it's early access on all of the platforms. So Switch, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One.
Yeah. And
its full release. So it's had its full release on Microsoft Windows, but it hasn't had the full release on Switch, PS4, and Xbox One yet. So that's coming this year.
The final thing I've been playing, I've not deep into it yet, but I gave Dead Cells a go on your Game Pass. Really enjoyed it. Again, I'm not a sucker for these sort of pixel art styles, and so when I looked at screenshots of Dead Cells, I was like, I don't know. But it was on your Game Pass, so I thought, well, it's there. Let's have a look. And they've inserted just a lot of personality. There's a lot of interactions and sounds and animations that just really add a lot of character. The gameplay is super fluid, just running through and diving and collecting items. There's a really nice sort of upgrade system in the way that, because it is a roguelite, if you die, you start from the beginning.
Yeah.
But I just really enjoy that process of like building up the stuff and picking how you're going to do it. Again, I'm not that deep in, but there's a really good level of difficulty and difficulty curve. The graphics don't bother me because they've really incorporated it into their style.
It's very vibrant, colourful, and it's quite a detailed pixel, style, isn't it? It's not like Absolutely. A lot of other pixel styles. It's pretty detailed.
Yeah, so I'm really enjoying that. But again, I can't go into too much detail because I'm not that far into it. But I have to say, I picked it up on Switch because of the sale.
I've been meaning to do that because I tried it out on Game Pass and I was like, yeah, I really, really like this, but I know it's a good Switch game, so I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to keep playing it.
That's what I did. Yeah.
Which was tricky, but yeah, so I definitely will be getting it on Switch because, I mean, it's been out for a good while now and I've always thought when this is on sale, I'm going to get it. So I need to just go ahead and do that.
Recommend Dead Cells. It's really good.
Radical, he's a roguelike boy these days. From a good few episodes back saying you weren't really a massive fan. You've played enough of them now to realise that they're good.
Well, I have played it a few, but like I didn't consider myself a big player of them. I don't know, but I've just been rinsing 3 of them out of nowhere and really enjoying them. Realise I'm not a CRPG guy. Yeah, it's all changing, getting older, getting more refined. I don't know.
This is what happens. Everyone becomes rogue in their later years. It's that addictive gameplay loop, which I just absolutely love in roguelikes. That's what we've been playing over the last couple of weeks. Who knows what we'll be playing over the next week or so? But that's it for this ep. We've prattled on for a little while now, and I think we've had a nice chat.
Yeah.
So I think let's wrap it up, baby boy.
Let's do that. Thank you so much for listening. Absolutely, really appreciate. I didn't have the right words there, but really appreciate if you're downloading on whatever thing you're using to listen to us on, whether it be on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify, or Deezer and Stitcher. Are we on those yet? Still waiting.
We're out. We're out there.
We're out there. So yeah, thank you very much. Next week, what are we talking about?
So we mentioned it briefly earlier. Next week, we're going to talk about video game addiction, whether we're addicted, whether you, the listener, are addicted, whether there's a little bit too much weight put on the idea of being addicted. Well, we know that these days it is now a mental health term to have. It is deemed to be an affliction, having a video game addiction. That was a good little rhyme there. So what are your thoughts on it? Please do let us know. We'd love some feedback. I'll be putting out some tweets trying to get some feedback. But please do email in your thoughts. What is that email, Mark Liddell?
It is pushingbuttonspod@gmail.com. Pushingbuttonspod@gmail.com. You only have to write it once, though.
Yes, don't do it twice. That won't work. Please do email in. That would be absolutely lovely. And please do follow us on all of the social media, the Twitter, PB Podcast UK, Instagram, @PushingButtonsPod. Come say hi. Send us a picture of yourself playing a game with a thumb up and a smile, hopefully. And if you want to wear a cap while you do it, that of course is your own decision. And as a final thought, please do try and be next week's MVP. Tell 5 people about the podcast. Let them know. Get them listening, and we'll write a jingle all about you, just like we did for our dear friend Keaton Kendrick.
Until next time, that's what we'll be speaking about next week. We shall bid you farewell.
Adieu.
And goodbye.
Adieu.